They don't want rocks to be thrown at them. They should leave. We got a military vehicle out here. On American streets, we got a military vehicle. The National Guard is here. We got tear gas has been deployed. Tear gas has been deployed. Gas is out. Gas is out. They threw the gas back. They threw the tear gas back at the police. Yeah. Tear gas is being thrown.
Stop shooting us like dogs!
Tear gas has been dispersed. And the tear gas has been thrown back at the police.
If we focus our attention on the problem and we look at what has happened in communities around the country effectively, then we can make progress not just in Ferguson, but in a lot of other cities and communities around the country. Okay?
Mr. President, maybe go to Ferguson when things settle down here?
Well, yeah, let's take a look and see how things are going. Eric Holder's been there. We've had a whole team from the Justice Department there. And I think that they have done some very good work. As I said, the vast majority of the community has been working very hard to try to make sure that this becomes an opportunity for us to seize the moment and turn this into a positive situation. But I think that we have to make sure that we focus at least as much attention on all those positive activities that are taking place, as we do on a handful of folks who end up using this as an excuse to misbehave or to break the law or to engage in violence. I think that it's going to be very important, and I think the media is going to have a responsibility as well to make sure that we focus on Michael Brown's parents and the clergy and the community leaders and the civil rights leaders and the activists and law enforcement officials who have been working very hard to try to find better solutions, long-term solutions to this issue. There is inevitably going to be some negative reaction, and it'll make for good TV. But what we want to do is to make sure that we're also focusing on those who can offer the kind of real progress that we know is possible. That the vast majority of people in Ferguson, the St. Louis region, in Missouri, and around the country are looking for. And I want to be partners with those folks, and we need to lift up that kind of construction.
Yeah, I'm good, cuz. I got it.
We're on South Florissant, right outside the police headquarters. The crowd
breathing it all in
began marching down the street after
I had to take the mask off.
It became clear that there was not going to be an indictment handed down by the grand jury. As Jason Carroll reported earlier, it got violent down the street with a police car. The windows of it were smashed. At one point, the crowd tried to overturn the police car. Some trucks, police trucks, started driving up the street, telling the crowd to get out of the street, that they were unlawfully assembling by being in the middle of the street. People in the crowd,
we're ready.
Most of them were not being violent, but a number of them were.
They were deploying tear gas in the air.
Our cameraman,
and they were trying to hit everybody that they could as collective punishment.
Came over and he almost
for a few people throwing rocks at him.
With the bricks,
if they don't want rocks to be thrown at them, they should just leave. Why are they blocking the road in the middle of our march? No violence happened until we.
When the crowd started to try to overturn the car, they really began to fire a lot of tear gas.
They didn't have to do that.
And that's what's been going on. Is the streets have been cleared. A lot of us have been fired upon with.
This is now the fifth time that I've been gassed.
We need to invest in a better gas mask. By the way, we'll put that down on yours. The crowd is still there, still confronting the police.
Jake, what's going to happen in this hour? As you can see, I'm wearing a gas mask just in case I've been tear gassed. We're not sure if it's the police or what's going on, but there are angry protesters that are surrounding us. There are lots of police officers. We're seeing police officers over behind us. They change their stance after sure there was gunshots. There were some windows that were blown out. I want to bring in some of our very own staffers here. Sarah Seiden, of course, you recognize this. Sarah, you've been here, 2 months covering this. And then Jason Kraverick is her producer. You were just tear gassed.
We were. What we saw were people throwing things towards the police. And then suddenly the police kept saying, disperse, stop throwing things at our vehicles, disperse. Suddenly we saw people taking over a car and moving it back and forth. There was a police car. They broke out the windows. The car was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth as we were pushing it. And eventually the police basically shot out the tear gas, and it just went everywhere, as it does in this kind of situation.
And Jason, you're red-eyed as well. You got tear gas.
Red-eyed. I mean, at one point they just fired a little bit of tear gas into the immediate crowd
tear
there,
gas
and
has been
you
deployed
could feel
in the
it. We
neighborhood.
advanced back, thinking we would get into some breathable air.
Deploy tear gas in a residential neighborhood.
The tear gas came from all directions.
Oh my
and the whole
Lord!
street
Did y'all just see
tear
that?
Gassed, and it overcame.
They just
You
deployed
guys have
tear
water,
gas into
and
the
again,
neighborhood.
We have our staffers,
Oh
our
my
security
God,
people
look
here
at it.
hit by tear gas
They're
as well.
shooting at
You can see if you can come in. What's your name?
Tim.
Tim has been hit by tear gas. And again, as the president, just as the president was speaking, I was here with Van Jones. Van Jones and I standing here listening to the president. The president said none of that's going to be accomplished by throwing bottles and almost on cue.
Y'all see the flares going in the skies when you know the tear gas is coming.
I do want to say that you have down there, you have some stuff that's going on.
You just deployed tear gas into a neighborhood.
Here have been very peaceful, but it's that same thing again.
And there's nobody
there.
there.
A small number of knuckleheads who are out here causing the problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Stand by, Van. Stand by, everyone. I want to get now CNN's Chris Cuomo out in the crowd. Chris, with the protesters, what are you seeing where you are?
The vehicles are advancing on us.
Hey, Don, there's about to be another
The
standoff
vehicles
here
are
now.
advancing.
The protesters are stopping the police vehicles from coming down the street that leads down to where you are.
The military vehicles are advancing on
We got
us.
hit with it before. Luckily, there's a lot of wind tonight, so the gas is dispersing. Here's the gas coming again. Hold on, guys. Hold your position, Ken.
Military vehicles advancing on the protesters, and protesters advancing on the military vehicles.
The police are saying that this is unlawful assembly.
And we can smell it.
They're not allowed to be here. If not, they're dispersing it.
Oh my Lord!
And they're using the gas. Here come more canisters now. Here come flashbangs and canisters coming right up at us. We're going to have to move back here in a second. There's a big volley now of it. A couple of dozens. We don't know what that sound was. There was some gunfire before. They're throwing the canisters back from the crowd back towards the officers. This is what happened a few minutes ago. It's a way of dispersing people.
We're good. So, Chris, can you
still hear us, Don?
So, Chris, again, if you come to us where we are now, you can see that the gas is coming this way. Protesters have started coming here. There's a woman near us who has been injured, and again, people are being overcome with tear gas.
What are they doing?
As well.
They hit people in the face with that shit.
We can get some water. I want to go now to CNN's Jason Carroll. Jason is out in the crowd. Jason, what are you saying?
Vehicles are advancing.
Don, same thing. We're on the back end of where the officers were. We got hit with that tear gas once, so I know how that feels, but now we're on the back end. You can see where the officers are. They formed a line here on the opposite side of the street, and they are slowly moving forward. As they do, they are firing tear gas in that direction. As we've been down here on this end, you can see one of the police cars here that the protesters banged. They smashed the windows here. They were throwing bricks. Many of the bricks.
Don't panic.
This is what they were throwing at some of the police cars as demonstrators were coming through the street here. But you can see the line of officers now. They've cleared the demonstrators off from this point. They're slowly moving in that direction. This is as far as we can go because of the tear gas situation. They're slowly moving up the street, slowly firing as they move and proceed. Again, slowly clearing people out of this back area with the hope of finally getting the protesters who have caused so much of this damage in this particular area out of the area. Excuse me, it's difficult to...
The whole air is filled up with tear gas.
Difficult to talk out here with some of the tear gas that's been drifting.
Can I get flushed out, please?
I've counted 1, 2, 3, another police car down there that was destroyed by some of the protesters who came through here as well. They were also smashing some windows, as we heard here, as they were moving through this particular area. There's a lot of anger, as you can imagine. This is not what Michael Brown's family wanted to see. This is the opposite of what they wanted to see. They had asked for the past several days for people to be nonviolent, but as that announcement came down, the grand jury's decision, and Michael Brown's mother was here as they moved her through the crowd, as she was so upset. The crowd then became very upset. They rushed the officers who were lined up in front of the Ferguson Police Department. There were those who were in the crowd, demonstrators actually, who wanted to police themselves, who were trying to tell some of the agitators in the crowd to stop throwing things, stop throwing the bricks, stop throwing the bottles. Clearly, they weren't listening. Don?
I can't breathe.
I need an IFB. I need an IFB. I need someone on the phone or something. What's the number to the control room?
I also want to tell you a little bit more about what we've been seeing down here, because you can see the officers, they continue to move slowly up the street, continuing to keep those who are causing the problems off the sidewalks. An announcement came down saying that if you were on the street, you would be arrested. We saw several arrests take place right here, right now, where I'm standing just a few moments ago, as they were dealing with some of these demonstrators who were coming through here. This is a close-up look now at the police car that we saw from St. Louis County a little earlier. I actually saw one of the demonstrators pouring lighter fluid on one of these police cars. They lit a fire over here, not too far from where this police car is. They quickly were able to put that fire out, but as you can imagine, it's been tough to see something like this happen in this community. This is exactly what so many people here did not want to see happening in their community. They did not want to see the violence here. But again, so much anger from so many of the people here in the crowd, so much disappointment, even though a number of people who we spoke to over the past several days, several weeks, did not expect the grand jury to reach a decision favorable to Michael Brown's family. But still to hear it, and I think a lot of the people who were in the crowd just simply became overcome with a lot of anger. I know they got me too. But as you can see now, a lot of people here have been cleared out of the area. You can see the officers continuing to make their steady movement to the crowd now. And just to give you an idea of a vantage point of what we're doing, we're now walking back towards the Ferguson Police Department at this point. While the tear gas in the area has started to dissipate, that's certainly good news. Because it's easier, obviously, to breathe. So what they're going to do is they're going to move through the crowd, and what they're going to do is they're going to try to isolate those who are causing problems. They've got night vision on. They've been able to watch some of those who were throwing from over on the sidelines, throwing bricks, throwing bottles. They're going to try to isolate those people, make those arrests, try to clear the area.
Fucked up. They're still firing gas. What are they firing?
Initially, you can see a number of Ferguson police officers still standing where they were when the announcement was made. They're still standing there in riot gear, still holding their position. So you can see right over here, we've got a barricade up that has not been challenged, but now we've got a line of police officers who are now meeting up with the very few demonstrators that are left out here in front of the Ferguson Police Department. I'm going to move up through here just a little bit more. You can see where the line is here, some of those in riot gear. A number of officers here. We've sort of ended up now in the middle. I'm going to try and make my way up through the... Sorry about that, sir. We're going to try and make our way up here through the middle of these officers to where this crowd is.
You gotta stay out. You gotta go somewhere, okay?
Small group of people that the officers now have
as a therapeutic tool,
surrounded up here where we are right from the Ferguson
autism.
Police Department. But I have to tell you, before there were hundreds of people who were gathered here in front. Hundreds.
They're in the water.
Now,
that sensory overload is quieted down. It's not fixed. These kids are going to still be autistic, But it's a
Right
great
now, it's
way.
Van Jones and I are.
Tear gas it.
They were, they're shining a very bright light at us right now. They were trying to, it was all unlawful assembly. They were saying you're not allowed to be in the street here, and the crowd wasn't dispersing. That's when the tear gas started. They used some beanbags to stop the people from overturning the police car, which had been really destroyed by them.
Yeah, well, now, there were some real serious knuckleheads, and that part made a lot of sense. Once they started stampeding people back up, once you had people stampeding back up, the addition of the tear gas, I think, made things a lot worse for a lot more people.
Well, it's certainly damaging, but it did disperse the crowd. I mean, one of the risks for us when you're covering this is that you wind up being too close to situations. And again, the police have made their line here. I can't see them because they're shining a very bright light in our eyes right now, but behind that is a line of police. They are armed, but they are not brandishing the weapons right now. Frankly, they haven't needed to, because they dispersed everybody so rapidly with the tear gas. Don's back now. People had to spread out and go, we're not hearing, we're just broadcasting, because we lost IFB. They're trying to dial us back in. And what that is, that's burning.
Police officers sprayed through tear gas into the crowd. Some of it got us. We tried to get to another location. We heard gunshots on the scene as well. Chris, you were overcome with tear gas as well. And we have protesters who are around us who are angry. Many of them are just wanting to be heard, and we're getting confirmation from police that there have been gunshots. As we were dispersing here, we went to some of the storefronts in the little shopping area where we are. The glass is bashed out over here, Chris, in this storefront.
There's a whole line of stores down here. People were saying in the crowd, these are black-owned stores. Why are you doing this to black-owned businesses? At first, some members of the protest were trying to stop it. Protesters are coming down.
They're moving this woman, apparently.
All this.
A woman in the crowd here.
There's a woman in bad distress. They're bringing her down.
With something.
They're trying to get help from the police officers. The police officers are taking her. Tear gas. There's tear gas just dropped right near us. It's going to get very bad here if we don't have masks.
More tear gas! More tear gas!
There are a lot of beanbags being shown.
Whoa, shit.
At tear gas.
What are we doing? What are they doing?
We'll go to Susan Hendricks
What are
right
they
now. So we can
doing?
hear the scene.
All right. Is the aftermath of the grand jury deciding not to indict Officer Wilson? You heard that news about an hour ago from now, and wow, look at it there. The tear gas there saying this is going to get bad. We have Jake Tapper there live in the field. I believe we can hear him. Jake, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. We're standing outside Beauty World. I think I'm here. Can you hear me? This is Jake.
Yes, I got you, Jake. This is Susan. Go.
Hey, Susan. So we're standing outside this store in South Florissant, Beauty World, which somebody has broken into, and we've been watching people running in and out and stealing things. This gentleman here is
they just tear gas media. That was all media right there.
From people walking by saying, "Why are you doing this? This is not what it's about." Similar to what Chris, I think, heard down at the strip mall down the street. But people were running in and out, and now I think there's a fire down the street. The police are still moving and pushing up South Florissant, telling people to disperse. As you can see, there's glass all over the streets here. Watch out. Well, glass all over the streets as all these businesses have been smashed. Some of them have had things stolen. A lot of them, as you can see, are empty lots, but a lot of violence, a lot of vandalism here this evening. There's some sort of fire going on down the street right here. So we're going to walk up there to see what's going on. Police are still pushing down the street in their vehicles, telling people to disperse. See down there?
Shit, there's a fire over there.
People running away.
And the tear gas.
Here we are is a local law firm.
That was on fire earlier.
Vandalized
It was
another
a
place.
flame that had started.
In most of these instances, it
fired
doesn't
into a
appear
field onto
that there was theft, just vandalism.
The flame slowly.
Here's the fire that's been broken out. It's in a trash can. I guess that's good news.
Smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke and mirrors.
That's what constitutes
smoke and mirrors.
Good news.
Like that.
That's what constitutes good news in here. Is it's not a building that's up in fire.
That's a car. It's a police car on fire.
Trash can. Very upset with the news from the grand jury.
When a girl having a heart attack and they tear gas, the girl is having a heart attack.
I'm sorry?
Why are we upset?
Come over here and tell me what you're upset about.
Where are you at?
Come over here and tell me what you're upset about. What's your name?
I'm Angel.
Angel, what are you upset about?
I'm upset that this girl just had a heart attack down here. 5, 6 people carrying her body. They tear gas the girl. They throw gas on the girl. On top of her body, she's passed out. And they start throwing tear gas at the crowd. We tired of this. And y'all should have seen this coming. Y'all should have seen it coming. Now it's her. United States, stand up with us.
It's a show mistake.
Someone got in my ear and told me that that the police are saying that it's not tear gas, it's smoke. It's I can't speak for everything fired, but there's definitely been a lot of tear gas fired. Let's go to Chris Cuomo. He's down the street.
If you can hear us, there's active gunfire here right now, Jake. They fired some canisters of tear gas. There's return of small arms fire, probably handguns, right where Frank is showing you the picture right now. It's in response to tear gas being sent there, but obviously not a reasonable response. The police still have their main line. They've repositioned themselves behind their vehicles. They're giving themselves some different orders right now.
Follow on Twitter.
There are a lot of police cruisers down by that fire. We believe it is a police vehicle that has been lit on fire. The police are firing beanbags.
We got a police car on fire.
And we're going to move out of this position right now so the officers can do what they have to do to control the situation. Okay, so Jake, back to you.
All right, back to me. Yeah, so what I can tell you right now is this car just pulled over with some people that obviously have been tear gassed and very reacting as one does when one is tear gassed. They just pulled over to
shot in the car.
Throw up. The tear gas was shot into the car?
Into the car. Yeah. Hey, we need a medic over here.
Wait, come over here for a second.
Almost 90,000 viewers watching live.
Jake Tapper and Crump and get his take on this. Ben, so glad you're with us. First of all, how does Michael Brown's family feel about the grand jury decision, and do they know what's going on there, the violence?
Goes to the man.
Do we have Ben Crump? Ben, you with us?
You not hearing?
I'm hearing, yes.
Ben, this is Susan Hendricks. Do you have me with CNN in Atlanta?
Where can we go?
Ben, do you got me? Ben Crump, you there? Ferguson, Missouri. This is in full.
Jake?
Well, we're here still on South Florissant, and there's a gentleman who has passed out in the middle of the street, and there's a crowd going around him, and we're not really exactly sure what happened specifically. What happened?
Tear gas.
It was tear gassed, I'm told, by somebody here. The tear gas obviously can cause quite a violent reaction in your body when you get tear gassed. So a bunch of people who were down South Florissant and who were tear gassed are coming up here and having reactions to it. Hold on, I'm being told something by my producer. Yes.
Were by the police department, and I would urge
Live
you, Jake,
rounds are in that car.
Good to see you reporting out there, but if you can just be
being
as safe
ignited
as possible.
and being set off.
My entire crew,
a lot of people standing around that could get hit by gunfire out of that police car.
Standing in front of the police department, and
police are advancing.
Several tear gas canisters went off in front of us as we look at these pictures of the burning cars and the police in tactical gear. We were ushered out by our security and also members of the Ferguson Police Department, and they're telling us to get to a safe area. It was the smoke was so thick that really we could barely move. And to be honest, I made my way back to the safe area and really just sort of, collapsed on the ground. It was really hard to believe, and it's unbelievable. This is reminiscent of what happened back in August, but this seems to be even more severe. Again, as we're looking at a car that's on fire there, and it appears to be an explosion at this car, really not far from the police department on South Florissant near the Ferguson Police Department. But again, this is all erupted into chaos. Security people have moved us into a safe place as we look at these tactical pictures, and I know my colleagues are out there on the street, but it can happen in just a second where someone can be injured. We heard several gunshots go off near us, even though the police were right up
no
around
fire
us.
department out here, nothing.
Many of our crew members are wearing bulletproof vests, and we're also wearing gas masks. But as you saw, I'm not sure if you guys saw on television, even with our gas masks on, we found it very hard to breathe. It's virtually impossible because that tear gas even comes through the gas mask, and it has nothing to do with how secure it is. It's still you're breathing in that air, and it just chokes off your oxygen and chokes off your breathing. So we made it to the safe area. But again, all of these pictures, this erupting here in the St. Louis area, in Ferguson, as we look at pictures
all
around the
people
country,
watching,
there is
if the stream goes down,
people around us screaming as
send
one
y'all-
woman
send us your
was
prayers,
brought
y'all. It's
right
gonna be
near
a
our
long
cameras. According to people in the crowd, and again, this is unconfirmed, she had a heart attack. I'm not sure if she had a heart attack, if she was just overcome by tear gas or what, but they handed her off to police, and then police, I would imagine, are taking care of her and taking her to get some sort of treatment. My colleague, Susan Hendricks, standing by at the CNN Center in Atlanta. And Susan, as we look at these just
filming, I was in the middle of the tear gas.
As a matter of fact, we're going to go to Ben Crump now. Ben
Hey,
Crump,
yo.
of course, is as I'm talking to you, Ben, I'm hearing gunshots in my location, even though we're at a safe area. Ben Crump is from here.
That's what some of the officers told us. They were demanding that we pull back, and what we noticed was that
as well, saying that this evening. But I have to tell you, Ben, the people who needed to hear what the president was saying this evening probably were not able to hear him because they were not in front of a television. Instead, they were out here, many of them, not all of them, but rioting and having tear gas thrown at them.
Taken over by a ruthless police state.
Well, hopefully we can reach them through social media, through you out there on the street corner. We got to find a way to reach them to say what we need now is people to be disciplined and dignified so we can try to address these real serious issues that keeps claiming our children's lives.
When do we start using military vehicles?
Michael Brown and the unknown Michael Browns are crying out from the grave saying we have to change this system that let people kill them and are not held without consequence. That's the serious conversation we have to have, Don.
Yeah. All right, Benjamin Crump, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us here on CNN. If you're just joining us here on CNN, we want to tell you that we're live here. The reason we're not in front of a camera is because there has been chaos, and the pictures that we're looking at now are from the Ferguson Market and Liquor, and this is, I believe, the same store where those cigarellos were stolen with Michael Brown, the videotape of him and Dorian Johnson in the store having an altercation with the store owner. And correct me if I'm wrong, producers, is this looting at this particular store that we're witnessing live? This store, as you can see, is on West Florissant. And again, we're not outside because there has been some rioting, some looting. Tear gas has been thrown, water bottles we witnessed being thrown at police, and the police, of course, retaliated with tear gas. And our security people, as well as the Ferguson Police Department, moved us to what we have here is a safe room. But unfortunately, many people who are out in that crowd, women and children,
just said that it was okay to kill us,
witnesses, many of
that it was legal to do so.
Correspondents and anchors have witnessed.
And then they use this on us.
They have been overcome with tear gas. And again, this Ferguson Market and Liquor store, listen, I believe, just looking at the pictures, one would assume that store is being looted.
Look at that.
Sadly,
it's not branded National Guard.
Does not really help the cause
St. Louis
of the
County
protesters.
Police.
It really deflects the attention from what the president spoke to tonight, really what the prosecutor Bob McCullough spoke of tonight.
That's not a military vehicle.
That's
That's
there
a
were
St. Louis
issues
County Police
with
vehicle.
police and with the community.
It's not from the National Guard.
Unfortunately, the death of Michael Brown would open up conversation, at least for people to start a conversation and to possibly come to some sort of consensus as to how to deal with this situation. But hey, listen, there's no way
St. Louis County
to
Police
describe what you're seeing on your scene
has military
on your screen
vehicles.
as just utter chaos.
What do they need with
and
military
embarrassment,
vehicles?
Really, I would say, for the Brown family, for the peaceful and law-abiding citizens of Ferguson and this country. And my producers are cueing me here as we're watching people loot this convenience store, this liquor store. I want to go now to CNN's Jake Tapper, who is out in the crowd with more. Jake, what are you seeing?
Hey Don, how are you? Well, we're right near the Ferguson Police Department, and you can see all the big police trucks, the line of police officers in their riot gear standing there blocking. We've heard anecdotally that the shots that were fired, I think earlier tonight, Chris Cuomo was in the area, and you too as well, Don, were fired from over there, so there's a lot of concern about being in between up the street and over here where the police are. I was trying to see if I can get a good camera angle here, but the police car that's in flame. Let's get over here. Hold on one sec. I can't see it. And I'm told that we're looking at pictures also of looting of the store where this whole thing began, Ferguson Liquor. But there you go. There's the St. Louis County police car that earlier tonight was vandalized and then set on fire. You can see the flames.
They look like soldiers. Look at them.
Piercing the sky.
Are these policemen or are they soldiers? Look at them.
And obviously, police and state troopers wearing their riot gear, standing here in front of the City of Ferguson Police Department and Municipal Court as violence has erupted in Ferguson, not unexpectedly, but disappointingly, after the grand jury failed to deliver
St. Louis County Police
against Officer Darren Wilson. Now we're being told to move.
Vehicle
fire trucks
is
are
on the
coming
streets,
out, so we're told.
And it's ran from the police department.
Fire trucks, watch out there. Okay.
I don't understand, yo.
It began peacefully enough earlier outside, Don, as you know, with the crowd gathering outside and listening, coming together for the verdict. But then, as time passed and it became clear from the prosecutor, things changed. Don Lemon, back to you.
He's communicating with somebody. Who's he communicating with?